Hey Crochet Friends, it is Cyndi. Welcome to Sugar Joye. I just wanted to make a quick video for you today. I was playing around with some of this Halo yarn that is packaged this way. This one actually is a different yarn, but I used the Halo yarn, so I don't have an example, but it looks just the same as this. So it goes from light to dark. It's this really fun ombre, and I used 2 skeins of it, or 2 rounds of it.
So here's what the actual Caron Halo round looks like now. It did used to look like this, and sometimes you can find them on the sale rack.
So the size of this came out to be 36 inches this way, so 3 feet this way, and then it's 4 feet long. And I would say this is a nice size for a lap can or a crib blanket. And I didn't put a border on it because I figured out how to do these edges where they come out nice and straight, but you are certainly welcome to put a border on it if you want to. So for this size, it's 2 rounds of the Halo. You want to do an even number. I crocheted 100, and then we do 1 row of single crochet, and then we do front post single crochet, another row of single crochet, front post single crochet, regular single crochet, and then we do a sequence of this wonderful moss stitch, which gives us this sort of wavy line, and you just crochet into it so it's on the back as well. And I have discovered that you want to do an odd number of the even moss stitch, and then follow that by a row of single crochet. Now, also, you know, I just thought it was pretty the way that it worked out. It's this nice stripe pattern worked up in a horizontal shape. And when I ended the blanket, it did not end the same way that I started it, but I still thought it looked pretty. So, like I said, very easy to do. And once you got the repeat down, you can just make it as long and as wide as you want to go. I started with the light end, and I just worked through an entire skein. And then I started in the middle of the upcoming skein, and then that just matched it out, and then that way it ended with the light color. So for our demonstration today, I am going to be using this lovely Hosta color of Caron 1 pound, because I started doing the tutorial with the lovely Halo yarn, and it was just a little too fuzzy. You couldn't see it very well for the tutorial, so I decided to switch over to this yarn just so that you can see it a little bit easier. So we're going to do an even number of chains. I'm going to do 20, and it's very important if you're new to crochet that your base chain is consistent. When I first started crocheting, I just whipped that chain out as fast as I could, and I found that if you really take your time and do a very nice evenly weighted chain, that it just makes the entire project go a lot smoother. So here we have our even number 20, and I'm going to turn and do a slip stitch, which is pull through 1 and pull through 2. Now the secret to having nice straight ends on this project is to have a slip stitch at the beginning and at the end of the row. We do our single crochet, which is insert your hook, pull through a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So here we are at the end of our single crochet row, and I'm going to do a slip stitch, insert the hook, pull through 1 and pull through 2, and then we'll chain 1 and turn, and then this first space here we're going to do a slip stitch. Oops. And now we're going to start our front post single crochet row. So what we're going to do is skip this first post here, and we're going to go to the second post, and we're going to insert our hook. We're going to go around that post, pull through a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Insert the hook, pull through a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And we'll do our front post single crochet to the end of the row. So when we have 2 stitches left here, you see 1 and 2 stitches left here, we're going to work this last post a single crochet, and then we're going to work this space a regular single crochet, and then our last stitch space we are going to work our slip stitch. Now the first few rows are always a little tweaky, but as the blanket grows it gets a little easier. And then we chain 1 and we turn. So you can see we've got our lovely front post braid here happening, and then when we're looking at this side of the project with your front post single crochet, you know that it's time to do a row of regular single crochet. And so the first thing we do is to go back in. You can't work the first stitch, you've got to work the second, because your turning chain, you would just undo it. So you work back in a slip stitch into a slip stitch, and then we just do single crochet. Easy peasy. Okay, so here is our first section. We've got our chain, 1 row of single crochet, 1 row of front post single crochet, 1 row of single crochet, front post single crochet, and then we have another row of single crochet. And we end and begin each row with a slip stitch, a chain 1, and we turn and we go back into that slip stitch, and then we're going to do the even moss. So anytime you're doing starting the texture stitch, you're looking away. The nice thing about the even moss is that you work back into it, and so you'll get the pattern on the back as well. So we did our chain 1 turn and a slip stitch, and then we're going to do a half double crochet, which is yarn over, insert your hook, pull through a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And then we're going to do another slip stitch. And then a half double crochet. And doing these slip stitches in between the half double crochets is how we get these beautiful swoopy patterns. So the rhythm is just slip stitch, half double crochet. And this is, you know, once you get going, it's really fun to do. It has a really nice rhythm to it. So this is where it's important that, you know, counting matters, because we want to end with a slip stitch. And then we chain one, we turn, look how pretty that is. And we work our slip stitch. And then it's very easy to keep track after you've done your first row here, because you work a slip stitch into a slip stitch, which are the little spaces, and you work a half double crochet into a half double crochet, and that's your big spaces. And so for this sequence, in order for it to, you know, start over correctly, you've got to do an odd number of rows. And this is 7. So here we are. I finished the 7th row of the even moss, and now I've done my slip stitch. I've chained one and turned, and now that I'm looking at my front post single crochet rows, I know that it's time to do just a regular old palette cleanser, which is your single crochet. And that will give us our nice base from which to do our front post single crochets. Okay, so here is our finished sample. And so the places that you want to really pay special attention to is at the end of your rows, that you're not forgetting to do your slip stitch. Sometimes they can get kind of tight, and sometimes they can get kind of tiny, and so you have to like work your crochet hook in to the ends there. So you want to make sure you know you've got a good handle on your tension. The other place that's easy to lose the game is forgetting to do a slip stitch between each of your half double crochets on the even moss stitch. So if you get, you know, if you're not ending with a slip stitch and beginning with a slip stitch, you know, and you can pretty much figure you've added in you know, you've lost the count somewhere in there, and so you probably will have to go back and undo it. And so, you know, when you're working on a long row, when you're working on 100 chains, you want to make sure that you know, you're paying attention. But like I said, once you get going, you'll remember to do it. The other is to really make sure you've got down how to do the beginning and end of your front post single crochet rows. You've got to skip that first post, and then your last post you work a single crochet into and then end with a slip stitch. So once you got that down, look at how nice and even those ends are. And you can just do the repeat as much as you want to. It's very pretty, or you can make this bigger or put in more of the front post single crochets, or however you want to do it. They're 2 stitches that look really lovely together. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll see you on the next one. Happy crocheting. What are you doing?
It's raining out. I don't want to go for a walk.